Now you guys know I love me some WCW, and I love me some Fall Brawl. It may not have been one of the heavily themed pay-per-view events like Bash at the Beach or Halloween Havoc, but it still has a lot of great stages, rings, props, and graphics. Fall Brawl didn't begin as a pay-per-view event. Instead, the show got its start as a subtitle for the TBS special Clash of the Champions, a supercard event similar to WWF's Saturday Night Main Event. So let's take a look at everything that made up the show from 1988 to the very last event in the year 2000. Clash of the Champions 3, Fall Brawl, took place on September 7, 1988 at the Albany Civic Center in Albany, Georgia. The event would host 3,700 fans in attendance. This was during the Jim Crockett Promotions era, so we'll be seeing NWA branding around the arena. In 1988, most wrestling promotions had yet to establish fancy entrance areas, so here all we see is a dark portion of the arena that wrestlers come out of. For announcer introductions, we see big bold white font with a shadow effect applied. The same is used for wrestlers with the addition of a banner matching the ring skirt. Speaking of the ring, we see that same design here, as mentioned, over a green backdrop with a dark gray ring canvas. There is no ringside padding present here, so the ring is surrounded by exposed concrete. On September 12, 1989, Clash of the Champions 8, Fall Brawl 89 took place at the Carolina Coliseum in Columbia, South Carolina, with 2,600 fans in attendance. The logo features the Clash of the Champions font in gold and red with purple Roman numerals. The Fall Brawl lettering appears in a big bold tan-colored font with some sort of ripple effect. This year we get a decorated entrance area complete with multicolored lighting and tassel curtains. You can still see the flooring from the USC basketball team. They didn't even try to cover that up. Introductions feature a kind of peach-colored font with shadowing for announcers, while wrestlers see some additions in the form of two teal-colored lines appearing across the screen and behind the font, as well as additional info appearing in smaller white font. In the ring, we see a dark bluish-grayish ring mat with bold blue ring apron skirts. Ropes are blue, white, and yellow with blue and yellow turnbuckle pads. Outside of the ring, we see blue ringside padding and white padding wrapped around the turnbuckle posts with Coors Light branding on them. Clash of the Champions 12, Mountain Madness Fall Brawl 90, what a name, took place at the Asheville Civic Center in Asheville, North Carolina on September 5, 1990 with 4,000 fans present. We see a similar logo to last year's, only this time it appears to be chiseled into the side of a rock, or I guess it's a mountain based on the name of the event. Over at the entrance area, we see an actual elevated stage for 1990. Here we get multiple lighting structures above the set, as well as some of the stage itself. In the background hangs a purple banner with the WCW logo appearing in gold. Despite this being a really basic look, something about this entrance setup really strikes me. I like this one. The elevated ramp runs all the way down to the corner of the ring. Introductions for announcers feature a bold white all-caps font with the addition of gold lines running from a Clash of the Champions logo across and behind to the right side of the screen for wrestlers. But not all wrestlers. Certain bigger name stars get their own unique on-screen graphics, which is something we sometimes see in current day wrestling, but was definitely quite unique back in 1990. Ringside, we see blue turnbuckle posts, blue padding, and probably my favorite ring skirts of all time featuring the classic blue and gold WCW branding, similar to the one seen in WCW vs. NWO World Tour for the Nintendo 64. In the ring, we see the return of the dark gray ring canvas with blue, black, and yellow ropes, along with blue and yellow turnbuckle pads. Clash of the Champions 16 Fall Brawl was hosted by the Augusta-Richmond County Civic Center in Augusta, Georgia, with 2,800 fans in attendance. The logo looks a little ahead of its time for 1991, with a silver backdrop, a weathered white font, and a red border. The stage is one we'd see a few times during this era of WCW, with a large WCW logo hanging in front of a gold curtain, with lights scattered throughout. This is another one of those stages where the ramp runs all the way to the ring without sloping downward. Introductions are once again white font with shadowing for announcers, with the addition of a banner and event logo for wrestlers. The ring area remains exactly the same as it did in 1990. There would be no Fall Brawl for 1992, but the once-a-year Clash of the Champions subtitle would become its own pay-per-view event in 1993, with 6,000 fans hitting the Astro Arena in Houston, Texas on September 19th. This show marks the introduction of the Fall Brawl logo that was used for many years, featuring a gold font with purple outline and a tank underneath donning the name of the show's signature match type, War Games. We see the gold curtain look return here, this time with the event logo being displayed in place of the WCW logo, which can now be seen off to the side on a purple banner. A few lighting structures finish off the look. They used a pretty cool looking white font for announcer introductions, which carries over to wrestlers with the addition of a purple backdrop and event logo. The stage and the ring are once again connected by the ramp, only this time they aren't quite aligned at the same height, so there is a slight downward angle about halfway down the ramp. This would be the debut of the two-ring setup for the event, featuring plain blue apron skirts, light blue ring canvas, blue turnbuckle posts, yellow and blue turnbuckle pads, and the return of the blue, black, and yellow rope combination. Ringside, we would also see blue floor padding. The Roanoke Civic Center in Roanoke, Virginia would host the 1994 Fall Brawl event with 6,500 fans in attendance on September 18th. We would see the same logo return for 94 with not a single thing changed. This would be the first year with video screens on the stage, featured at a slight angle in front of a blue curtain with lighting structures and a Fall Brawl logo finishing off the look. This look just screams 1990s wrestling to me. I mean, the large video screens made up of lots of smaller screens, the colorful lights, shiny curtains. I truly do miss this look. Introductions for announcers feature a simple white font, with wrestlers getting a similar treatment as last year, with the same banner returning, minus the semi-transparent background. Over at the ring, we see the same yellow and blue turnbuckle pads that we've seen for a few years, along with the same blue apron skirt as last year, but for the first time at a Fall Brawl, we see all black ropes and the WCW Bullseye logo on the ring canvas. On September 17, 1995, 6,600 fans in Asheville, North Carolina would witness Fall Brawl. Not a lot has changed for 95. We see the same entrance area with only minor changes, like the lighting structures that were previously on the outsides of each video screen are now directly underneath, and the lighting structure previously surrounding the Fall Brawl logo is now directly above it. We once again get a white font for announcer introductions with the addition of the event logo for 1995. Wrestlers actually receive almost identical graphics, only additional information can now be seen in a smaller goldish font. Over at the ring, we don't get any upgrades, with everything remaining as we saw it in 1994. 11,300 fans hit the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on September 15, 1996. This stage design is interesting. It features mostly the same assets from last year, just arranged a little differently. We see the two screens return, only the one on the left has been raised and a Fall Brawl banner hung underneath, while the one on the right is almost at floor level with a Fall Brawl banner above it, creating a staggered look that I always felt looked a bit off. We see lighting structures around each screen setup, as well as at the top of and behind of the curtain backdrop. We see the same graphics package for introductions, both for announcers and wrestlers. Over at the ring, not much has changed. We do see red turnbuckle pads in one ring with yellow for the other. We also see black turnbuckle posts replace the previously used blue ones. On September 14, 1997, Fall Brawl returned to the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum, this time with 11,939 fans in attendance. We get a larger, center-mounted video screen for 1997, with a lighting structure constructed around it, as well as the Fall Brawl banners and additional lighting structures over to the left and right, where wrestlers make their entrance into the arena. Introductions for announcers and wrestlers are similar to last year's, only here we don't see the full event logo, instead just the tank and the words War Games appear here. Over at the ring we get some new stuff to look at for 1997, with all new gray ringside floor padding as well as gray ring apron skirts to match. In the ring we see the return of light blue canvas, only this year the event logo has been added and it's quite large, taking up most of the ring. Ropes and turnbuckle posts are once again black, with turnbuckle pads appearing in yellow for both rings this year. Winston-Salem, North Carolina would host Fall Brawl for the third year in a row on September 13, 1998, with 11,528 fans in attendance. For the first time in quite a few years, we see a new event logo here, which isn't drastically different from the previous one, but features a new color scheme, some new design elements, and the addition of the WCW NWO combination logo. Over at the entrance area, not a lot has changed. We see the return of the center-mounted video screen set, this time with a larger lighting structure surrounding it. Also returning are the banners and lighting structures to the left and right. For announcer introductions, we see a new font and color scheme, which is also used for wrestlers, in addition to a banner stretching from left to right with the event logo to the left. In the ring area, we see even more gray for 1998, with the skirts and padding from last year returning and the debut of the gray ring mat, complete with the new event logo atop. Yellow turnbuckle pads return while ropes and posts remain black. For the fourth year in a row in 1999, Fall Brawl would return to the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum with 7,491 fans in attendance. As part of the WCW remodel in 1999, we see a new event logo which is a little on the simple side compared to previous years. The stage area features a large cutout of the new logo, with lighting below and the starry backdrop behind. This would be the first stage since 1993 to not feature a video screen. Though the lettering inside of the Fall Brawl set piece does display video, it's rather hard to make out. We see signage on the backdrop for 10-10-220, who sponsored the show. The stage and ramp here are also black, creating a pretty dark look not previously seen for the event. Announcer introductions feature white font over a simple, semi-transparent red banner with gray accents, and while wrestlers get the same treatment, they do see the addition of the event logo to the left. At the ring, we see gray ring canvas with the new WCW logo centered and the 10-10-220 logo in each corner. Skirts and floor padding are also gray, while ropes, pads, and posts are all black. On September 17, 2000, the final Fall Brawl would take place in the HSBC Arena in Buffalo, New York, with 8,638 fans in attendance. 2000 was a very generic year for WCW presentation-wise, so just like most pay-per-views that took place that year, we see the same entrance area, which I've gone over many times, so I really don't see the need to go into it here. We get a new logo featuring maple leaves with an image of a skull blended into the middle. While I don't care much for this logo, I'd have to say it is perhaps the most fall-themed logo out of the bunch. Announcers see introductions with black font over a gold nameplate with the event logo at the top center. Wrestlers see the same graphics with the logo sliding over to the left here. In the ring, we see red ropes with black turnbuckle pads and posts. The mat appears in a light gray shade with black apron skirts featuring a large rendition of the logo font. This event also featured a shirtless Vince Russo flexing in the ring. Fall Brawl had quite the history, going from a Clash of the Champions special to a full-blown pay-per-view. Though the sets weren't as heavily themed as some other shows, we still saw some pretty cool designs. Which ones stuck out to you guys the most, whether good or bad? Let me know in the comments section. And of course, I'd like to thank you for watching another episode of Arena Showcase.